if there's ever a time for, especially in a best of 5, full fearless, you do have to start thinking about champion economy as you go further in a series, right? TP from 369. Looks like after this play, they're just going to reset, go towards the bottom lane, and see if they can pick up any plates while they're waiting for TT to go for their resets. But by letting Basejuan do this objective by himself, 1xN and Feather are going to get back to this lane in time to pick it up and also continue to match TES's bot lane.
Yeah, this is a very solid start for ThunderTalk Gaming. I mean, for the 1xN Tier 2 boots, being able to match JackeyLove, no huge advantage has been netted for either team at this point, but, the solid amount of gold that has been accumulated just thanks to a lot of these macro movements. Now,
Mark, I can't believe it. I'm sure TS are probably not too unhappy with the state of affairs right now. Again, they are a team that I think we are expecting to see how they're able to do. Tab now. Okay.
Oh, I think Tab might just be gone. He tries to dash back with the distortion and to dodge out on this all-in.
Wait a minute.
Flashing over the wall. They eventually get it, and the arrow from 1xN, unfortunately, is just a little too late. First blood goes over to top Esports, not wasting a second and jumping on Tab.
Right, and the Dragon's even spawning in 50 with the desync and timers there. They can contest for that Dragon as well. I think TS need to be able to make space somewhere on the map and make a play. And so far, we haven't really seen that kind of action from them.
Yeah, and for top Esports, they were not able to find that advantage where they could create a numbers advantage in order to enter and contest for the second rotation of the Void Grubs. So for ThunderTalk, 6 grubs to them. Well in position, while, once again, not massively ahead in gold, they are still in position to execute on their game plan as they're making the siege on top side.
TS just look a little slow on the map. We're going to get that fight now.
Maybe it could be Feather just taking so much damage, and I guess they didn't know Kanavi was in the area, or at least underestimated their ability to turn that. And once again, decisiveness is what gives top Esports a way back into this game.
I still like their odds in this game. It's a very, very minor lead, all things considered, at 13 minutes here. 2,000 gold, almost 1,000 after this Dragon is spawning, so TT are looking good, and part of their success throughout Demacia Cup so far has been the fact that I think that they've played the map.
To Rift Herald's side just yet. It is just now JackeyLove is getting priority of the mid wave before Kanavi can move on over onto the top side of the map. 369 does give up control of the bottom tower, and that is first brick gold going over to ThunderTalk.
Kanavi and Chris joining in from their respective rosters. Cream gets caught here.
Good clip by Beichuan. Now Cream, can he get out alive? Yes, he does. Perfect execution into the wall so that he can flash over it. He's totally fine.
And as long as TT are able to pull them around the map, like we've seen in these last 15 minutes, TT can very easily grow themselves a gold lead, get themselves an item advantage, and then come into what I'm going to assume is maybe a 3rd and 4th Drake with some pretty sizable leads.
Simply due to top Esports being insanely decisive on a couple of picks so far. And with this Rift Herald crash into the Tier 1 in the mid lane, you might look for another crash, but it's not going to be in the mid lane. They're going to roam on down. Come on, Drift King. Let's see if you've put your time in that practice tool. Oh, good Drift. Really solid curves and turns, and Kanavi's just gonna get one more crash, but it might be a little too
trying to sneak it. So what is he? Okay, he's trying to hide the. So he's making it so that it avoids the minion wave there.
Yeah.
And in mid lane, we actually saw JackeyLove throw out his ultimate. Feather, I don't know if it was going to land, but as it maybe does, he uses his Mikhail. So there are a couple of small things there from TES that they were trying to fish right before this objective to say, look, you're not going to have Mikhails. We'll still have Leona ult as well.
While they have a small gold lead, it is still one that should not be disrespected. Everyone is on 1 item power spikes, except for 369, who has managed to secure a Spirit Visage in his inventory before anyone else has completed their 2nd item.
JackeyLove immediately does kind of open up the rest of this map. We'll see if TT can make another play. Again, they have the Ashe ultimate as well, so similar to them on this side. Oh, Tab didn't even use his distortion.
I mean, his passive pops, but Chris has been locked down and center, and Tab is now just gone from the fight.
There it is, wait a minute.
Ashe arrow right onto JackeyLove. He doesn't have cleanse anymore, but there's no proper follow-up from the rest of ThunderTalk. Here comes Cream, looks for the backline assassination, but just not enough damage as he has to take his retreat away from 1xN. Now Hoya trying to get into the front backline. JackeyLove falls to 1xN, he finds his moment, he flashes back into the safety of his team. He's kiting back with the arrows. Hoya complete completely running amok in the backline and dancing back into his own team for safety, choosing his moment, but 369 goes all out into Hoya, trying to play around with Cream. They're looking for 1xN. The bailout not enough as Hoya tries to do everything he can before he has to leap strike back to safety. 369 and Cream absolutely saving that fight for Top Esports.
There's no longer any kind of real bailout. They don't have the damage to be able to get to reset as well. So, like you were saying, the solo laners of TES, and I think the terrain just doing a lot of work and favors for them here as 1xN now.
H1 with the engage, looking for Jackie Love once again. Remember that he does not have any summoner spells, and it's an easy pickup for ThunderTalk. It's Feather that gets the kill credit, and for Top Esports, now down to Marksman. Gonna have to back off and cede control of ThunderTalk's own side of the map back over to them.
PL teams, one of the biggest changes I think for this tournament is the fact that the teams are required to have at least a majority of their LPL roster going into the next year. That was one of the reasons that I think Demacia Cup might have been exciting for different reasons, was the fact that, hey, we got like the LDL teams that got to be able to play for these guys, and getting some hype generated for the teams and what they can kind of look like. And if TT can continue the level of performance, oh my god, Tab just got solo killed by Cream. All right, so Cream, I'm gonna keep going. I think there's not much. Oh, we're investing TP. Okay, never mind. All right, let's do this.
He just flashed. Doesn't have perfect execution anymore, and Hoya is just going to close the distance with the helicopter dong, ensures that the counter-strike lands. Nowhere else for Cream to go, but so much pressure. That was pretty much all 4 members all chasing Cream down on the top side of the map, which opens up this minion wave push with Kanavi and Jackie Love to secure the tier 2 turret in the mid lane.
Oh. Those are huge cooldowns down now. We saw that they used the ultimate from Ashe. There's also no handshake, so there's a small timer here. Kanavi going for global red buff here, expecting that his team won't be able to they won't be able to take the dragon in time. Kanavi.
Sejuani ulti thrown out. Cream is now into the backline. Kanavi now has arrived to the party. Cream is popping the stasis to buy some time with that Zonya's Hourglass. Here comes Hoya, tries to stall as long as he can, flashes away, but he gets assassinated, and here comes the rest of Top Esports. They find the flip. Good night, 1xN. Bishwan could be next as he flashes to safety. Feather trying to make the escape, but Kanavi is giving him the double knuckle down. Kanavi wants to make a statement. He is one of the best junglers in the LPL, and he is not letting go of that crown.
Look, they have a lot of momentum. We saw yesterday that Weibo were able to take the first game, and then they made their sweep on the back end of that series. TT, I think, are going to have to go back to the drawing board and look for more success there. Also gets the flip back in after using it on his the smoke bomb. So great job from TES. They're playing this really, really well. I think the only avenue we can see from TT is if Tab can get another item, maybe get to level 16, getting the additional point in that ultimate can be really huge. But Cream with, dude, I mean, he has Ocean Soul. Every time he takes damage, he just heals. He can one-shot the back line. I think there's very little wrong. Now with Kanavi next to him with his Baron buff, it's only going to get tougher and tougher here for TT. So whatever items they have in their inventory, whatever kind of experience they have now, this has to be their last stand if they want to be able to stay in this game and even fight for a game 1 contest.
And if they don't do anything, then Top Esports are just going to continue taking structures one by one. And if there was any window to take it, at least before those inhibitors fell, it's already gone. Now Top Esports shifting their attention to the bottom side of the map. This tier 2 turret will fall. I don't think Cream is going to overstay his welcome, though. Just give the Baron buff minions a
show replay, but when it's to show how little damage Ashe does to a Cassandra champ, I'm okay with that. Here we go.
Look at all the CC out. There was a beautiful solar flare into the knockup from 369 as Kanavi sends it into the backline. Q flash right into Tab through 1xN's phase. I mean, how cracked is this guy, man? ThunderTalk are not going to withstand the siege and the pressure. Top Esports don't drop a single man as they send the siege into the Nexus and will take game 1 against ThunderTalk.
It was a slow first 15 minutes here for TES, but it seems like the sleeping giants have awoken so far here. It's only game 1, so a lot of series still left to play in a best of 5, but a very dominant one after they were able to get that vehicle rolling for themselves. varying levels of success throughout the years. I'm excited to see what we get from him here. Mordekaiser seems absolutely miserable to play in this game, but in the lane here up against Maokai,
Your first clear, you clear camp so fast, and you're able to easily just transition this over to a potential dive.
This is
369.
beautiful
He's
from
doing a
369.
great job of holding the minion wave and killing it against Hoya, who can't really do that much damage, just as a Maokai flashes the dredge line from Feather, and now they have to initiate the dive, but Feather's starting to take up the turn shots, and he has to drop aggro because they're not going fast enough. Beishwan takes a nasty amount of damage off of that last turn shot since it had been ramping up, and now Chris is actually doing enough base damage.
Wait a minute.
The flip! Holy kaboli! 369, and Chris might have just outplayed this turn shot.
What is that?
What are you doing? Just go in! But there's no minions to take it up. It's just absolute disaster in the top side, and 369 and Chris just made ThunderTalk look like Thunder Clowns.
Oh, wait a minute. Chris is still looking now. Beishwan's back. The wave isn't crashing just yet. TT, if they want this to really work, they need to be able to get this. This entire time, Kanavi has been farming. So if this does not go the way of TT, the game is over from a jungle position.
Now he gets the shield from the crash down.
That's
Finally,
one.
they pick up one kill, and the second one, the nightmare is over for ThunderTalk,
no.
but it is just begun, because here comes Kanavi. Beishwan has no choice but just to execute himself to the minion wave, as now Kanavi will pick up at least one kill, finds the dredge line on the minion to close the distance against Hoya. He's trying to get the killing blow, but the flash for the Riptide, not in range. It is just another execute for Hoya. It is still a decent advantage for ThunderTalk, considering that they have 2 kills to 1, but it could have been so much worse.
Kanavi's trying to make a play for this, and you know that Cream has ultimate. I think that you should be looking for this, especially with how close Kanavi. If he can get another kill, if he can steal another grub, this can be them setting up with a really big win. 369 is here as well. TES should be contesting this last grub for sure, I think, in my opinion.
Hoya tries to lock up Kanavi. Doesn't have flash anymore, but they
There's
get
the
the kill,
reset.
and he's gonna get.
Oh!
Oh, but he just dies right before looking for the possession of the reset. Saytab flashing away from 369, looks for one last mace blow. Cream doesn't have enough mana. Oh my goodness! Saytab survives with less than 50 HP off the back end of it. The big hero for ThunderTalk.
Honey Fruit coming up clutch there for ThunderTalk. One Honey Fruit. One of 369 didn't grab one of them. So yeah, Saytab just gets 3 of them, and now we're making a play into Cream. Saytab gets another kill. It's now 6-2 in favor of TT.
Behind where Cream was getting the advantage. The fact that this Corki is going to come online a lot faster, as now 1xN is in trouble. He's in the death realm with 369, and Feather is going to try and give him assistance once he pops back out. And 369 does flash over the thorns from Beishwan, and will at least trade 1 for 1 before trying to retreat back into the safety of his own side of the map, but doesn't have another second cast of that shield. Does go down to Beishwan. And Top Esports, at least in their top laner, will find an advantage by himself.
Man. It's unfortunate for 1xN that he ends up going down in that trade. It takes a lot of, I think, the wind out of TT sails. Looks like TES do want to try to make this play. They're bringing over 3 members to die of Hoya. Oh, no W now.
Nice shattering strike into the crash down guaranteed combo. Kanavi picks up the reset as well, as Kanavi is going to be the first one into the river.
Okay, that's 1 grub already taken here for TT. Corki's going to have first move into this play.
Feather was looking for that engage. Hoya already throws out the ultimate. Saytab, making his way on over. Hoya has lost a huge amount of HP, below 50% HP.
Feather.
Kanavi gets this huge smite. Chris going in onto the back line. A lot of damage from Jackie Love through the bullet time. Feather's the only one that's taking up really any damage. And Kanavi goes for the first reset, finds the Nautilus, flashes right on top into the back line, and here they come. But Saytab manages to pop Kanavi before he gets another reset in. Saytab trying to empty the full Corki clip.
What
is starting off as Jackie Love picking up a quadra in the back half of it. He was left unchecked, and when that happens, Jackie Love will be the victorious one. Managing to live through the burn as the rest of ThunderTalk are able to bully the rest of Top Esports away from that first tier 1 turret. True Shot Barrage, I was curious to see if he was trying to look for a Miracle Snipe on the Kanavi as he recalled into the base, but might have been a little too early, maybe just going for the minion wave instead. But ThunderTalk managing to pick up their first turret of the game.
That we're expecting to be able to win Demacia Cup and also have really great performances coming into LPL 2025.
And it puts a big highlight for Saytab and Beishwan to really sync up, because As you pointed out, JackeyLove is really the only person on the side of Top Esports that has a massive gold lead. But the fact that he is a very squishy misfortune puts out a lot of damage, but it's a glass cannon, so it's also pretty frail if left isolated. The question does come down to ThunderTalk. How can you set up those engages? Because, you know, a lot of your damage dealers are not necessarily built for diving. They're built for poking, keeping.
Eventually, they are going to be able to grab this. Again, 5 grubs is just so inevitable. We saw part of the reason why Team 1 was able to win the World Championship is the fact that they were able to recognize how powerful grubs are and just overload one side of the map, take all of your turrets, and then say, okay, well, now we have massive gold. And he's just been playing Maokai into Mordekaiser, which is pretty miserable. Oh, we're finding an engage.
And you know what? An
What?
engage on a support might not seem the most ideal thing, but it allows for a 1 reset for Kanavi, and having access to something like a Nautilus guarantees any pick falling up onto something like Hoya, who has been isolated thanks to the Death Realm popped by 369. And just like that, Alk, Top Esports, 2 free back-to-back kills creates a 5-3 man advantage on the map.
I mean, what is Feather doing? Like, so yes, he gets caught out. You can maybe argue as to whether or not, like, that was a reasonable area for him to be in, but after he gets caught, he just, like, throws his hands on the keyboard and just, like, he flashes, he presses all. Okay, let's take a look at this replay.
That, you know, this is a new, you know, a different roster for Top Esports as we get another fight into the blue side jungle. Kanavi might have gone a little too far on that one. No resets for him. Chris taking a lot of damage from Satub as he flashes back over the wall. Cream looking for one more reset off of this Orbit Deception. Now gets another cast of that Spirit Rush. Should be fine. True Shot Barrage.
Oh,
from 1xN! Woo! And Baseline is going to get the kill credit thanks to the burn from the Leandri's Torment, but that is all credit to 1xN having the guts to be able to go in with that Arcane Shift, find a little bit of extra damage, and it's just a nice hero moment for him. You know, 0-3 and 5 does not tell the story just from that fight alone.
Back 3,500 gold here for TES in advantage. And we got Dragon spawning in 2 minutes. Looks like they're going to try and make a play and look for summoner spells.
Oh, and Feather was trying to lock down Cream on the entrance there, but goes a little too far forward. Is still surviving, but can't say the same about Beichuan, who fell on the right side of that fight. And with the Death Realm popped, there's nowhere that Hoya can go once again. And we saw why this Mordekaiser was locked in as soon as they saw the Maokai. Yes, the Maokai, even with no econ, with no gold, you can still be reliable. But if you don't get to be in the fight at all, then you don't get to really play the game and contribute to the side of ThunderTalk.
If TT were able to snowball this game, I think we could have seen a little bit, oh my god, Satap, what are we? We are just going forward. Okay, respect.
I mean,
he knows he doesn't have ultimate. He should be able to just pressure them off. Remember, 5 grubs hitting on mid. This will be the Baron here for TES. But what I want to talk about before, am I going to be in the law too? Cream?
I mean, Satab is going to try to create as much space as he can, but Cream, no flash, but JackeyLove should be easily able to auto him over the wall.
The Baron buff actually just ended up being used as more so them being able to push. 1xN tries to go for the True Shot Barrage steal, doesn't end up making it happen. It's still about 2,000 damage off. And really during all of that play, TS just barely able to get some damage on the mid lane. Satab is just dead. That's a flash from 369.
Yeah, nice Q flash, and I didn't even realize he built a rocket belt this game, but considering the amount of champions that have so many dashes to get away from, it's a nice pickup. And meanwhile, on the bottom side of the map, you know, 369 was cooking on the top side, and JackeyLove just picks up another quadra kill for himself. Unfortunate for him that Satab was on the other side, as he cannot pick up that pentakill that definitely could have been his. But Top Esports, a statement win to come back even after such a advantageous play around that first rotation of grubs. It's not enough from ThunderTalk, and now Top Esports find themselves a match point in this series. I'm not sure if, I'm not a marksman player, so, you know, I don't know, like, what really feels ideal with so many marksmen already off the table. And, you know, if you want to balance both safety and, you know, damage output, too dangerous to TP in. Just as I say that, they're going to go for it, and Chris will emerge from Fog to try and see if they can pull off some of that magic we saw in the second game. Already, Beichuan has to dip from the stacking turret aggro, and now it resets. ThunderTalk waiting for their moment to wait for those cooldowns, get them back up. Good charge, but Beichuan dodges out of the way before the Ignite eventually gets him, but it doesn't because he flashes over the wall and Chris cannot get another bit of damage to finish off the kill. The pathos, you know, angle you're going for, because, you know, when we're trying to convince someone who is a defender.
Uh-oh, Setab.
Setab is in trouble, and Kanavi just has too many dashes to be able to keep up with Setab despite the flash.
Cannon minions. But the big one for them is going to be the fact that the ultimate, once it's fully upgraded, gets larger as you get more takedowns, and it has a longer duration when you do get takedowns. So it gets larger and larger. We're having our first fight over the Grubs. Cream is over here and has hit level 6, so this is a tough spot for TT if they want to commit any more.
And so clutch for top esports. Beishuan was trying to get that smite on the second Void Grub, but Feather back off, trying to fight for control of that minion wave, but Setab is forced to concede it for now, as now Chris and Kanavi are going to threaten him under the tower. And it looks like Chris could have actually just solo killed him by himself, but making sure to donate that kill credit over to Kanavi, making this Wukong even more accelerated. As for 2 years, just throwing in strays. And oh, come on, man. Leave me alone.
There is no justice, no peace out on these rifts.
And it's definitely no peace for Setab, as he can't even get a crumb of the minion wave, as Kanavi and Crisp come in straight in and bullying him away from the tower. As 369 is going to endure himself against Hoya. Now that there's no CC from this Minion, is going to just throw out the Call of the Forge God. I mean, 369
not really in a great position to help contest for these Grubs.
And Beishuan might be in trouble here. Still has flash available, throws out the Crescent Guard, pushes Crisp away, and forces him to battle dance back to safety. A teleport is coming in from 369, but he's on the other side of that wall. He's gonna try to take up as much of it, but he is forced to flash after losing more than 75% of his HP. Second rotation of Grubs. 2 have been picked up by top esports, so now they've secured 4 for themselves. ThunderTalk, they need to escort Beishuan into range so that they can look for it, and it's actually 1xN that gets the 4th bullet, but the fight emerges and erupts, and Crisp is the first one to fall. A good tempered fate stops Kanavi in his tracks and tries to dissuade any moment for top esports to look for the further engagement. Kanavi throws down the Cyclone, but flashes already came out from the side of ThunderTalk, as now the curtain call looking for one more bullet, but it's not enough to finish off Jackie Love, and ThunderTalk somehow stand tall in the fight.
Game 1 Pog steal.
Well, there's still a chance for potentially Cream to pick up an MVP this game if he finds his moment on this Victor. He's been building up a small gold advantage thanks to a lot of the resources, a little bit of that acceleration and love back into other carries as teleports are coming in.
Okay, both top laners are coming in from different sides of the fight. 1xN is currently farming in mid, but this Herald is almost down, and there's no jungler in the area.
Oh, really good tempered fate. Cream could be the target here. Here comes Call of the Forge God as it splits up the fight. Kanavi secures the Rift Herald, but someone needs to walk over and pick up the gem, but they're going to turn for the fight first.
Ooh.
Kanavi and Chris finding their way through the front and the back line, as top esports now seem to have the majority of the fight on their side. Up right in between those 2 towers is now 1xN looking for that base. Should be safe. Cream just making sure that the rest of the red side jungle quadrant is up for the taking, but he's just going to walk on over to the bottom side of the map. Spawning in the next 35 seconds, and top esports already have their pieces set in order to take that without any contest from ThunderTalk. This wave pushing into the tier 1 turret on the bottom side of the map. That will be knocked down eventually here. Cream just taking his sweet time with it and making sure that ThunderTalk have no realistic way.
Future. Especially with a champion like Victor, because we don't have the stacks or how many times he's been able to upgrade. We only can really tell by looking at his abilities when he uses them. I would like to see in the future more target framing of Victor, because we're looking at Cream right now. On the bottom left, you can kind of see all his little abilities that are up, his summoner spells. I want to see how many Victor bucks he has. I want to see, does he have any upgrades coming up soon? Are all of his abilities ready and he's just waiting to get his level 16? Or his second point to be able to put more into his ult. That's what I want to see. We got a dragon starting here now, though, as 269 is nowhere in the area.
Tempered Fight just pushes Cream off to the side. Kanavi flash over the wall. Cyclone right onto 1xN. That forces his own flash away, and he is completely out of the fight, but he's got a curtain call. He's going to fish for some bullets. Cream has to stand behind the rest of the front line. And he should be relatively safe unless he can bend it like Beckham around the front line. Woohoo! That was dive off of it. Or maybe not so much unless they force it. Okay.
5 grubs? 4 grubs? Okay, we're TPing. We're fighting for this, boys.
Well, Call of the Forge God does knock him up, but Setab jumps in with the Between Worlds, gets a decent slow and damage off. Hoya needs to go into Mega Gnar form if he wants this fight to work out, but Crisp is looming around the shadows. They get the animation canceled for the Mega Gnar fully off, but Crisp predicts the hop back from Setab, provides the knock-up, gives the alley-oop 369 to dunk his face on, and Cream picking up the kill on the Hoya.
Favorite coming into this tournament. ThunderTalk, I think, have put up a great run up against some other teams here and even making it to the semis.
And Top Esports are going to continue hammering in this advantage as they look for the dive. Feather tries to prevent the dive from happening and stalls some time with the Tempered Fate. It does buy Satab an escape out as he uses the Between Worlds to jump to the other side of that ring.
TES to not only bring home a Demacia Cup win, but I think in general, bring home one of the cups here. When we're talking about LPL, they haven't been able to win since summer of 2020. Still had Jackie Love. They brought in Kanavi and Chris to hopefully level up the team and
are to unlocking the base and where the minion waves are. A couple of kills could have been enough for Top Esports to completely just take the entire base of ThunderTalk Gaming. As for now, they hold the ground and they make sure that Top Esports are not in a position where they can just rip the Baron on sight. They are going to take their time and instead play for the third dragon of the game as 369 getting a decent chunk. Is he just going to solo out Hoya? Oh, man. If we're at this state in the Gnar and Ornn matchup, I don't know what else to say. It's that saving grace for Hoya. He tries to occupy the minion wave, but, you know, before that death, he was only a Trinity Force and half components on that Black Cleaver to a 2 full...
I just don't think there's much that TES can do wrong in this game right now. They are so far ahead. Even though it's only 7,000 gold, you have to think 3 dragons, multiple turrets, the experience differential, especially in mid lane right now. Cream being a level and a half up season playoffs or working into potentially qualifying as a top 8 team.
Yeah. I mean, listen, if you're able to, you know, take a game off of JDG in your respective group, I think that is, you know, it's very meritable in that own sense, as Top Esports might just be making that game-winning engage, as Satab is going to throw a desperation Hail Mary attempt trying to flank the back line with that Between Worlds, and Cream is chunked out of the fight, but not necessarily in lethal range. Kanavi is trying to dodge on these bullets, and I thought that last one was going to curve, but Fog of War put a stun into Cream's acceleration since he is working with that BM book now, 10 stacks on the Medjai Soul Sealer, but no one from ThunderTalk can really safely make an entrance here onto the Baron pit. Beishuan was chunked out, so this is a safe time for Top Esports to rip that Baron. Now the gold lead nearing that 10,000 gold of no return for ThunderTalk.
L team really going to be able to shape up. They probably are going to make top 8 here at Demacia Cup, but much past that, we don't know. We'll have to hold that question for tomorrow or in a couple days when Grand Finals is played, but TES just playing with their food right now. They're kind of fishing with some of the ultimates now. I think we're getting in that part where that restlessness starts to kick in. TES want to close this out.
Satab sends it, pops the Between Worlds, tries to look for Cream, but he gets blown up. Power of the Arcane as Top Esports riding on that anime high as they have the Power of God and anime on their side, and it's all about strength. It's all about power, and Top Esports have tons of it in supply. Cream adding up the stacks on that BM book, reaching 25, 7-0 and 5 on the victor. Surely this is an MVP performance worth deserving and rewarding for himself. GG to Top Esports. They sweep ThunderTalk out of the bracket.
These were some of the best highlights from today's matchup. Which moment was your favorite? Let me know in the comment section below. This is OP, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.